What up? Welcome to a new deck list. This is Izzet Pirates, but it's a twist, kind of. It's budget, so this is actually coming in at under $10 on TCG Player, or under $9 if you exclude basic lands. Yeah, so it's very basic. It's a Breeches Malcolm list. They both have partners, so they can be with each other. They kind of work off each other, but not really. One just gets value from hitting, and the other does too, but in different ways. So Malcolm, whenever one or more power to control deal combat damage, or deal damage to an opponent, you may make a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. And Breeches is whenever one or more power to control deal damage to your opponents. Exile top card of each of those opponents' libraries. You may play those cards this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those. So your small powers are going to be hitting people, they're going to be stealing cards, they're going to be making treasure to play those stolen cards. That's kind of the gist of the deck. And yeah, because we're super budget, like fun fact, no Soul Ring. Now, there's still a lot of 2 mana artifacts, thank you, Architect. Like Dire Mimic, 2 mana, flash, you can add a mana of any color. You sacrifice it, which sucks, but as long as you get your like Malcolm out once, you'll have a pretty steady treasure outlet. And then from there, you won't need the mana rocks as much. Same with Mimic, 2 mana, sack Mimic, add 1 mana of any color. Buried Treasure, 2 mana, sack it, add a mana of any color. You can also pay 5, exile it from your graveyard and discover 5, which is nice. You can do later on in the game when you have surplus mana. Sky Diamond, Fire Diamond, they both enter tap, but they tap for one of the colors of your commander identity. Wayfarer's Bauble is here to ramp, even though it's kind of slow and I don't like the card much. It's still in the deck. And Glittering Stockpile, 3 mana, you can add a red, put a stash counter, and you can tap it, sack it, and add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of stash counters on Glittering Stockpile. Let me just sort by alphabet, because yeah, price was just trying to make sure to get it under 10. On the creatures, a lot of just small budget pirates, or pirates that kind of help excel the strategy. So Brazen Freebooter, 4 mana, 3/3, when it enters, you make a treasure. There's essentially 3 mana. Also, the treasure can just be useful for other things. Breeches the Blastmaker, 3 mana, 3/3 menace, which is nice for hitting. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, flip a coin. When you win the flip, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. When you lose the flip, Breeches the Blastmaster deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. You can just sacrifice a little treasure for this, and it works perfectly. It also deals damage if you lose the flip, so you're still getting another treasure, and you're getting another Breeches trigger to steal the top of somebody's library. Brineborn Cutthroat, 2 mana flash, 2/1, and whenever you cast spells during your opponent's turn, you may put a 1/1 counter on Brineborn Cutthroat. Or an Izzet, we have a decent amount of instants, might as well play this card, it can get big for 2 mana. Burdened Aerialist, 3 mana, 3/1, when it enters, you make a treasure token, and whenever you sack a token, like tapping a treasure and sacking it, it gains flying until end of turn. Really easy to give this flying, which is nice. Captain Lannery Storm, 3 mana, 2/2, haste, whenever it attacks, you make a treasure, and whenever you sack a treasure, put +1/+0 on her. She can finish the game if you somehow accumulate a stupid amount of treasures. She's also just a 3 mana, 2/2 with haste that makes treasures, which is nice. Captain Storm, Cosmium Raider. This is also Lannery Storm, but she looks a little weird in this art. I don't like this art much. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target pirate you control. This synergizes crazy with Malcolm when you're making a bunch of treasures, and then all your pirates just get bigger and harder to block. Captain Vargas Wrath, 2 mana, 1/1, whenever it attacks, put pirates you control get +1/+1 until end of turn for each time you cast your commander from the command zone this game. This is almost always going to be 2 because you're casting both your commanders at the start of the game. And then yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a little better when you have multiple commanders because you're not paying as much commander tax for each cast. Corrosive Recruiter, 5 mana, 4/3, whenever it or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of target creature until the end of turn, untap that creature. Until the end of turn, it gains haste and becomes a pirate in addition to its other types. This can steal blockers from your opponents, make them into pirates, and because of the pirate tag, they'll get benefits from their commander. Really strong card. It's 5 mana, but yeah, for an effect like that, it's pretty worth it. Corsair Captain, 3 mana, 2/2, when it enters battlefield, create a treasure token, and other pirates you control get +1/+1. It's just a lord effect. Dargo the Shipwreck, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of artifacts and or creatures. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way, and 2 less to cast for each other artifact or creature you sacrifice this turn. So if you're casting this in your second main after cracking a bunch of treasures for whatever, It's really cheap. It's also just it could essentially be a 1-mana 7/5 with trample, so you can just beat down on opponents early on in the game with this. Daring Saboteur, 2-mana 2/1. For 3, you can make it unblockable for the turn, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do discard a card, good way to cycle, and the 3 mana isn't horrible. Departed Deckhand, 2-mana 2/2. One that becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it because it's a spirit. It can't be blocked except by spirits, which is nice, and for 4 mana, another target creature you control can't be blocked this turn except by spirits. The whole like pay mana can't be blocked is really useful because you can actually just like reduce the cost by 1 because of the treasure it'll make. Unless somebody interacts with it, but yeah. Direfleet Daredevil, 2-mana 2/1 first strike. Whenever it enters battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it. You can just steal like already cast spells. You could steal a board wipe if you need to. You could steal a really good value piece that like draws you a bunch of cards. It's a pretty good card, especially for 2-mana 2/1 with first strike, so it can easily hit. Enterprising Scallywag, 2-mana 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, create a treasure token. You descend if you put permanent was put into your graveyard. This can be treasures. This can be attackers that got blocked and died. So yeah, it just makes more treasures, kind of to replace the treasures usually. Fanatical Firebrand, 1-mana 1/1. You can tap it, sack it, deal 1 to any target. This triggers both your commanders. It's also just a 1-mana 1/1 with haste. Gem Cutter Buccaneer, 4-mana 1/3. Whenever it or another power enters the battlefield under control, make a tap treasure. And treasures you control are equipment in addition to their other types. Have equipped creature gets +2/+0, and equip pirate 1 or equip 3. It's a nice way to hope to maybe try and end the game. You can just use all your treasures to beat people up more with unblockable attackers. And yeah, it's just a good value piece. Gorehorn Raider, 5-mana 4/4. Raid when this creature enters. If you attack this turn, it deals 2 damage to any target. This will trigger both your commanders. That's why it's in the deck. Carry Zev, Skyship Raider, first strike menace, so it's kind of hard to block. And whenever it attacks, create Regavan, a 2/1 red monkey creature token. It enters tapped and attacking. Exile the token at the beginning of combat or at the end of combat. So it kind of just makes a free attacker every combat as long as you're not swinging her into like, I don't know, a board of 3 10/10s that are just like all blocking and killing her. Kitesail Courser, 2-mana 2/1, has flying as long as it's attacking. It's in the deck to attack, so it'll always have flying. Lightning Rig Crew, 3-mana 0/5. It deals 1 damage to each opponent, and whenever you cast a power spell, you can untap Lightning Rig Crew. This is super crazy with your commanders. You deal 1 to each opponent, you make 3 treasures, you exile top card of all 3 opponents' libraries. With the treasure, you can just cast another pirate, untap this, do it again, make more treasures. Very strong card in the deck, as long as you have enough pirates in hand to get its effect to keep happening. And if not, you're still just stealing stuff from people. Merchant Raiders, 4-mana 2/4. Whenever it or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, taps up to 1 target creature. That creature doesn't untap during its control as untap step for as long as you control Merchant Raiders. It'll keep things tapped. It'll just tap blockers down, which is nice, because then your pirates can get in more beats. Rishadan Airship, 3-mana 3/1 flying, can block only creatures with flying. Who cares? It's a 3-mana 3/1 with flying. Mainly just flying. It could be a 1/1 for all I care. Sailor of Means, 3-mana 1/4. When it enters, make a treasure token. And yeah, that's it. It's a 2-mana 1/4. So it's got a big butt, which means it's good to attack with. Slippery Scoundrel, 3-mana 2/2. It has Ascend, and as long as you have the City's Blessing, Slippery Scoundrel has hexproof and can't be blocked. Really easy to get Ascend in Commander because the format's so much slower than most other formats. And yeah, just can't be blocked, which is free value. Spectral Sailor, 1-mana 1/1, flash flying. 4-mana draw card is interesting, but yeah, it's a 1-mana 1/1 with flying. Staunch Crewmate, 2-mana 2/1. When it enters battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or pirate card from among them. Put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's a 2-mana 2/1 that replaces himself. It helps you go wide to get more unblockable creatures. Stormfleet Sprinter, 3-mana 2/2, has haste and can't be blocked. Pretty simple, just unblockable. Vaughn Street Thief, one of the few non-pirate cards in the deck. It's from Final Fantasy, so I kind of wanted to include it because it worked in the deck. Whenever one or more scouts, pirates, and or rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, exile top card of that player's library. You may cast it. If you don't, create a treasure token. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a 1/1 counter on each scout, pirate, and rogue you control. This works with Breeches. This kind of works by itself. This is a good card in the deck. It makes treasures or it steals and it buffs your pirates. Warquake Marauder, 2 mana, 2/1 flying. Whenever it attacks, target creature defending player controls loses all abilities and has base power toughness 0/1 until end of turn. It's a great way to stop blockers from blocking. Zara Renegade Recruiter, 5 mana, 4/3 flying. Whenever it attacks, look at defending player's hand. You may put a creature card from it onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So it's not really theft, but it does help getting beats down for 5 mana. That's kind of what you want as like a bigger finisher card. Onto the enchantments, Guild Artisan. 2 mana whenever or command creatures you own have whenever this creature attacks a player. If no opponent has 1 life from that player, you create 2 treasures. This is just here to make more treasure tokens. Quicksilver Dagger, 3 mana, enchant aura, has tap, target creature deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, you draw a card. This draws you cards, this affects both your commanders, so it gets value. It's a good piece. Street Urchin, 2 mana, command creature you control, have 1, sack another creature or artifact, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. If you don't need a pirate on board or the pirate's not doing anything, you can just sack it, ping it off, and then get the free effect from your commander in Breeches for 1 mana, and that 1 mana kind of replaces itself with the treasure anyways. And Unabled Scream, which is kind of just like good removal, pseudo removal. You enchant a creature, it loses all abilities, it's a toy, and it's a 0/2, and as long as the creature is face down, it can't be turned face up, which is nice for the 1 in 1,000 manifest player. But yeah, it's 1 mana removal, kind of. If you have like a non-commander creature, they usually won't block with it. They'll just try and get rid of the enchantment itself. Same with the Witness Protection. Enchant creature loses all abilities, is a green-white citizen creature with base power, toughness 1/1, named Legitimate Business Person. So yeah, both just 1 mana removal cards, which are nice. Abrade, 2 mana, deal 3 or destroy an artifact, kind of just removal. Aetherize, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. This is good defense later on in the game if somebody tries to go wide on you. Curate, Surveil 2, draw a card. This is kind of just card advantage to hopefully see pirates if you're breaking. It's also really cheap. Izzet Charm, 2 mana, draw 2, trash 2, or deal 2 to target creature, or counter target non-creature spell unless it's controlled players 2. Does a little bit of everything for 2 mana, which is nice. Look at its Dispersal, 3 mana, it costs 1 less cast if you control a pirate, which you most likely will. Counter target spell unless its controller plays 4. This is very similar to the next card. Mana Leak, counter target spell unless its controller plays 3. It's just a little bit better if you control a pirate because it's a 1 and a blue. Negate, counter spell. Opt is there hopefully to get you into better pirates or more pirates if you're bricking. Radical Idea, draw a card, and you can pitch a land from your hand to cast this from your graveyard, which is nice if you're flooded. Resculpt is just kind of removal. Exile target creature, its controller makes a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Run away together, bounce 2 creatures controlled by different players. You can just bounce 2 opponents' creatures and then have swings into both of them, which is nice. Think Twice, 2 mana, draw a card, and you can flash back for 3. Thrill of Possibility, 2 mana, pitch a card, draw 2, so it kind of cycles. Turn Aside, 1 mana, counter target spell that targets permanent you control. I think this card is very underrated in Commander. I think more decks should probably play this, because although there's a lot of interaction on the stack, having like your commander path to exile for the 4th time in the game feels pretty bad, and this gets around it. That's my justification for playing that card. On the sorceries, we got Try to Course, draw 2, then discard a card unless you attack. You attack every turn, so the discard doesn't happen. Eagle Vision is 4 mana, draw 3, or free running 2, which is if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or commander, your 3 mana commander is flying, so it's pretty likely to get that. And yeah, it's just draw 3. Enter the Enigma, can't be blocked this turn, and draw a card. Renegade Tactics, 1 mana, target creature can't block this turn, draw a card. So this says can't be blocked, this one says can't block, so they kind of do different things. They're also just 1 mana, draw a card, worst case scenario. Scour All Possibilities, scry 2, draw a card, and you can flash back for 5 mana, which I don't think you'll ever do, but yeah, scry 2, draw 1 for 2 isn't horrible. I mean, obviously you'd want to run Ponder or Serum Visions or one of the many 1 mana blue cards that say draw whatever or do whatever at the top of your library and draw a card. But those are all like close to $1, and in a $10 deck, you can't really spend $1 on a Brainstorm. Treasure Cruise, surprisingly a 21-cent card, Delve, draw 3. It's 1 mana, draw 3. It's really, really good. And then Winged Words, 3 mana. This costs 1 less to cast if you control a creature with flying. One of your commanders is flying, so it's really easy to get that. And it just says draw 2, so it's a 2-mana draw 2. Not bad. Onto the Maybeboard. I mean, I guess we can quickly go over the lands. There's really nothing special besides like a Rogue's Passage and a Path of Ancestry. Playing a lot of basics, so we're playing a Myriad Landscape, Frostbow Style as well because of all the basics. That includes Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. Yeah, kind of just like super basic budget lands. But yeah, the Maybeboard is interesting. These are obviously like, some of them are just side grades that I didn't want in the deck. Some of them are more expensive cards that I would have put in the deck, but they're like, I don't know, 10-20 cents too expensive. So 4 mana 3/3, when it enters, you just exile a creature and that player makes a 4/3 blue salamander. So it's like a 4 mana exile something with a body and it's a pirate. I think it's alright, but for 4 mana it feels kind of bad. Aqueous Form, enchant creature can't be blocked when it attacks scry 1. I think this just isn't in the deck because it's 35 cents, and I don't know if there's a card over 30 cents in the deck, but this is a good card. Unfortunately, if the creature gets removed, it just goes to the grave and it doesn't do much, but it could do a lot for 1 turn. Breeches, whenever pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Make a treasure, target creature can't block this turn, or exile top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. It should probably be in the deck. You could probably easily replace this. This is a very good value piece. Chaos Orb is just removal, but it's 43 cents for some reason. I don't know why. I thought it was like 10-15 when I was going to put it in the deck, but yeah, it's expensive, quote unquote. I mean, 43 cents is expensive to some people. Crafty Cutpurse, 4 mana 2/2 flash. Whenever it enters battlefield, each token that would be created under opponent's control this turn is created under your control. This is a really cool like tech piece if you're playing the like go wide token decks or decks that make a lot of treasures or something. It's just too situational that I didn't want to put in the deck. I mean, fit to your like play to your meta. If there's a lot of token decks, play this, flash it in, steal a bunch of tokens. It's pretty sick. Only for 4 mana too, so yeah. Daring Piracy, 3 mana at the beginning of your combat on your turn. Create a 1/1 red pirate creature token with Menace Haste. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. I was super on the line about putting this in the deck. I think it's a good value piece, but at 3 mana I'd want to just play my commander that turn, and then play my commander the next turn. Then it's 5 mana, make a 1/1 Menace Haste every turn, which can be alright, but like, I think it's really easy to block a 1/1 Menace Haste, so. Especially at like 3 mana. Diamond Pickaxe, I don't know, equip creature has +1/+1, and when it attacks make a treasure. There's a bunch of these types of artifacts. I was thinking of playing them for more treasure related stuff, but I kind of took out a lot of the treasure stuff to just get the pinging exile stuff for Breeches. Dreamcolor Siren, 4 mana 3/3 flash flying, can block only creatures with flying, and when it enters, if you control pirate, tap to target non-land permanents. I think for 4 mana 3/3, it's just a little slow. You can always hold mana and then like opponents end step before your turn, flash this in, tap to blocking creatures that opponents that you know you're going to hit have, and then swing at them. But I find it's also not too hard to get hits in with this deck, especially with how fast you go. Fathom Fleet Sword Jack, 4 mana 4/3. When it attacks, it deals damage to player or planeswalker it's attacking equal to the number of artifacts you control. Obviously, when you have a lot of artifact like treasures, this will do a lot, but I find I just cast a lot of my treasures to steal stuff and get value, so I don't really want this in the deck. I think if you go more into treasure generating and less into using the treasures, this card's pretty good. But yeah, it also double triggers your 2 commanders, which is interesting. Ingenious Artillerist, 3 mana 3/1. Whenever one or more artifacts enters battlefield under your control, he deals that much damage to each opponent. This card would be crazy if he was a pirate. If he was a pirate, this is like the world's easiest auto include. You make a treasure, you deal 1 damage to an opponent. You make a treasure, you deal 1 damage. It's an infant. It's a 2 mana infant with your commander, but he's not a pirate. Therefore, he's just not really playable, I don't think. Malcolm the Eyes, it's just 2 mana 2/2 flying haste. Whenever you catch second spell each turn, investigate. I think I'm super on the fence about this card too. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with flying and haste, so it is going to get in. It can get in the turn before you play your commander, and then the turn you do play your commander, and it makes investigate or like clue tokens, which you can just draw a card with. I think this card is very, very good. It's very close to being in the deck for me. Pirate Ship, 5 mana 4/3. Can attack if defending player controls no islands. If at any time you control no islands, you bury Pirate Ship, and you can tap it, deal 1 damage to target creature or player. It's in here for the ping effect. I don't really care about the first thing, can't attack unless defending player controls an island. That's whatever. Yeah, it's just tap, deal 1 damage to any target. Port Razor, 5 mana 4/4. When it deals combat damage, untap each creature you control out of this combat phase. There's an additional combat phase, and you can't attack the same player that's already attacked this turn. Really good piece. Unfortunately, it's 50 cents. It just can't go in the deck. Spyglass Iron, 1 mana 1/1. When it enters, make a map token. With flying, again, for 31 cents, I think there's probably more impactful cards that you can play that work alongside the commanders. This card by itself is really good. I mean, he's playing standard, therefore it's obviously a very, very good card. But yeah, making a map token and having a 1 mana 1/1 flyer for the price, it's not worth it, I don't think. Talos Explorer, 2 mana. It's a merchant, but it's not. It's actually a human scout pirate. It's not a merchant at all. They lied to you back in 1993 or whenever this card was made. It has flying, and whenever it comes into play from your hand, look at your opponent's hand. It's a cool ETB. It's a 2 mana 1/1 with flying, which is why I was debating it. But yeah, 60 cents. Mainly because it's old. The Belligerent. Whenever the Belligerent attacks, create a charge token. Until end of turn, you may look at the top part of your library anytime, and you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. This is really, really cool. Unfortunately, it's crew 3, so you have to tap probably a pirate to crew it. And then you're not getting a pirate attack in, but you're getting a vehicle attack in instead, and it's not even guaranteed because it has no types of evasion. I think this card, if it can get in pretty easily, just looking at the top card and being able to play lands and cast spells from top of your library in a very low cost of deck, is really, really good. But it's a little too situational. And yeah, I think that's just the deck. So yeah, $10 budget Izzet Pirates. Was this interesting to make? Yeah, because a lot of times yeah, you go to the Rex and you're like, wow, I'm missing Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Izzet Signet. I think you could probably include, but whatever. Sulphur Falls, it's a 33-cent land, but you're like, I think I'm going to play the one that comes in tapped and gives me a life instead. Or Malcolm, which is just kind of cycle and casting. Yeah, there are a lot of really good choices for this deck, even in budget, just because there's the Lost Caverns of Ixalan commander deck that has a lot of them from what I'm noticing. So many of these cards did come in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan precon. So yeah, maybe don't buy that precon and instead just buy all the singles for that deck because it's probably a lot cheaper. Also, yeah, Curiosity deals whenever an enchant creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. Good card. There's a lot of really, really good cards. If I could, I'd throw in Ragavan and triple the price of this deck, but that would be not very fun, is it? So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next week with another video. Until then, bye bye.